Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted. What the fuck, man?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 32 of the Topless Robot podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Brooks.
I'm unprepared, but my name is Tyler.
I'm Dan.
Do the walk of shame, Dan. Do the walk of shame.
Everyone look at Dan.
Now I can't even eat this donut.
I mean, you could.
Dumbass,
You
that's not a
can,
donut.
just,
That's a
you
bear
know.
claw.
The microphone is rude as fuck.
And,
Don't eat
Just
with your
don't eat
mouth
into the
open.
microphone.
and if you saw the sign, Dan, you'd know that you are the bear claw in the garbage bag of my life.
There's
Oh,
actually
man.
a sign. That's a sign, a real sign.
Well, yeah, it's a
Where is
Seinfeld
it?
quote.
Oh.
Seinfeld quote.
Yes. Like he said.
Hey, baby, what's your sign?
He's got the jokes.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a bandolier of jokes, but they still have to be high quality.
You don't know my bard character shit.
He's level 1, okay? Give him a break.
So it has been a week.
It has been a week.
It's been
When do we start programming replacements for ourselves
Yeah.
so we don't actually have to do this anymore? We just send out the robots to do it for us.
Microsoft Sam.
It looks like you're trying to listen to a podcast. Would you like help with that?
No.
I never released the video for last week's podcast because
Too horrific.
I'm that lazy. Wow. So it will forever be known as the missing episode.
The
That will
lost
probably-
episode.
It will probably go up at some point. I don't know.
So
The
wait,
audio's out.
the audio's out.
yeah,
okay,
the
okay.
audio's out on the podcast.
I was
page,
about
but
to
the
say,
video's
like,
not.
that'd be a bummer, because that was a very good episode.
That was a very fun episode. But yeah, the audio is out. If you primarily listen to us and watch us on YouTube, then subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And the audio is there, but no video. It is the
Well,
lost
to be
episode.
fair, we have
Which
to
is
have,
really disappointing.
we have to
'cause
start like locking things away for the 20th anniversary special edition. Touch-up release.
And you know, we got to have the Topless Robot DLC, obviously.
Oh, God.
Where we've decided to officially follow the EA.
The Topless Robot loot crates,
Exactly.
loot boxes.
We have micro Dan actions.
Microdanctions.
All of my unlockable skins are just me with a different scowl.
No, everyone is like different, but it's just the same outfit.
Dude, $199. You're just flipping through it. There's not even a difference. There's nothing at all. It's just a different. It's just a different picture.
It's
of
just
Dan.
him. It's just Dan wearing a different Black Dahlia shirt than everyone.
The Black Dingus murder.
The Black Dingus murder.
murder. I have also been failing to get all of the Mega Man X6 episodes out. I still have to encode all those and release those.
Man, it's almost like you bought a house and moved into it.
It's almost like life is exhausting.
Life is an endless cycle of pain and regret.
We'll just call it Megadan Brooks Spring Break for the rest of the world that celebrates spring.
We could Photoshop you guys at a fucking beach. A whole bunch of different.
I mean, we do have green screen footage.
There we go.
I just want Dan to just 10 minutes of silence or 10 hours of silence, and then just look at the camera and just be like, "Life's a beach."
Except even at the beach, I'm still dressed exactly like this.
No, you're wearing swim trunks over your like an old timey bathing suit.
He's got little floaties.
Metalheads at the beach.
Safety first, motherfucker.
Dan never learned to swim because he hasn't seen the sun in years.
It would be even better if
He likes to
has-
drown in his sorrow and the ocean.
He has the stereotypical duck floaty around his waist.
But the duck is in corpse paint. No, it's a
man.
big inflatable Danzig belt.
Oh God, no! I hate Danzig.
Now I just want us to have like different action figures, like Dan at the beach, like Topless Robot at the beach, Topless Robot in space, Topless.
Yeah.
And
Hi.
the elusive first edition that you can never find in stores, the Happy Dan.
Everyone knows that was discontinued immediately.
It's
It never hit shelves.
it's
Looking
a
into
failed
his eyes was like
prototype.
looking into the void.
1 in 1,000 in the blind box. So I feel like this week there haven't been a lot of game releases this week.
There's some,
But there was one that got released that I didn't even know. I don't know if it came out this last week, but I feel like it was a big deal at E3 not last year, but the year before. Days Gone, that new zombie game.
Oh yeah, I saw commercials for that this week, and I was like, I forgot about that.
I've heard it's
Yeah, I
disappointing.
had totally forgotten about it as well. And I remember being excited by the footage that I saw at E3, but then everything I've seen since then, I've been like, it's just another zombie game that
Look
I
out.
don't give a fuck about.
Look out! It's expired social commentary.
Yeah, right.
I've read a few reviews on it, and everything that I've read so far, it's been like it's not a bad game. It's not as exciting as it should have been.
Right.
That's pretty much what I've heard.
I'm still waiting for the real life movie to game adaptation of My Dinner with Andre.
Of course you are, Brooks.
I think
of
you
course
might.
you are. I don't think that there has been a My Dinner with Andre reference since Community made that reference.
No, I don't think so. And then prior to that, it was like The Simpsons had that.
Yeah.
It was the same episode. They had that the Polybius machine in the. Yeah.
I think that was Ryan's way of saying, "Do you feel special, Brooks?"
When do I not feel special? When I'm asleep and dreaming of my specialness.
It seems the shining star of the releases this week was Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, and people complaining about it.
Yeah,
Mostly
really weirdly. Fuck, there's something that we can talk about, man.
What do you mean these characters aren't wearing chainmail bikinis?
So I got Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch, which in retrospect was probably a bad idea.
That's what I
had
Extra
read
censor.
I mean, the things that no, it's not censored at all. Nintendo's gotten over that. Like, it's not like
They
the
replaced
the
the blood with
heyday
water.
of SNES versus
I was having
Genesis.
flashbacks to the creation of the ESRB.
Yeah. So the issue is the way that the way that developers have been handling the Switch's underpowered hardware with these larger AAA titles, like with Wolfenstein and with Doom, though they execute it significantly better with Wolfenstein and with Doom, is there's some like texture hashing, where some of the textures are not like fully transparent, but they almost seem transparent. They seem like scattered or dithered. And it's pulled off very surprisingly well in Doom and in Wolfenstein.
Isn't that also partly due to
Dither,
how
dither.
those games were developed in the first place? Because like there was some kind of like, I remember reading about it when those two came out, and like just the way that they were developed, even in their original engine and everything, led to the ability to still maintain a lot of that quality, even with the underpowered hardware. There was something about that. I forget what it was.
I can't really speak to that, but I can speak to the end result. And the end result is, while noticeable in Doom and Wolfenstein, it doesn't detract from the visual fidelity. You still, it's obviously not as nice as playing it on a high spec PC or on PS4 or Xbox. But
You can play it while pooping.
like, it looks good. You can play while pooping, and it still looks decent.
Pooping needs low quality.
In Mortal Kombat 11, they do the same thing, but for example, on Liu Kang's hair, it's especially jarring when playing through the story mode, where you're going from cutscene to fight to cutscene to fight.
Oh, yeah.
So the cutscenes are all pre-rendered and they all look fine, and then you go into the fight and it's a jarring drop in quality. And specifically with Liu Kang's hair, that hatching is so overdone on his hair that it looks like his hair is gray. And it's almost
He's
like it's
getting
trying
old.
to deal with a reflection, with a light reflection on his black hair, and it's just blown out and it doesn't look great. Now, that's not to say that it detracts from the gameplay. It's still a very good game.
Still Mortal Kombat.
And it's one of the better Mortal Kombats, if not the best Mortal Kombat I've played in a long while.
And it runs in 60 FPS too on the Switch.
I can't
too,
wait
as well.
for the Ultra Instinct Shaggy to come. Please.
Never gonna happen.
I don't
no one-
understand why they couldn't, because it's owned by Warner Brothers, and Hanna-Barbera and Scooby-Doo is also owned by Warner Brothers. So it'd be really easy.
Yeah,
It'd be easy, but
that would be acknowledgement of the meme.
and on top of that, those are characters that I'm sure the creators never would want to be in
probably-
a brutal
Yeah.
fighting game where they dismember people.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be cartoon violence.
Yeah, you punch into them and you just pull out Scooby snacks. That's how you...
Like Zoink Scoob.
But I especially dig the premise of this game, where basically this new character, I can't remember her name,
Shagette.
appears. So I didn't play through the story of 10, but apparently she was in that, and I didn't play 9 or I played a bit of some of the previous ones,
Yeah.
but I haven't. I'm like, Mortal Kombat's not a story that I have decided to be invested in.
I've seen the movie.
Yeah, right.
I've seen the movies. That was enough.
But
something about tax breaks and filming in Thailand.
apparently, Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade got together and had a child named Cassie Cage.
I did actually know that.
Yes.
So that was a new thing to me. And apparently Cassie Cage was in the previous one as well, which I haven't played a ton of, but I've played.
10 was very good. I liked
Yeah, 10 was good.
Mortal Kombat X.
So you start out as Cassie Cage, and you're like destroying this, major netherworld or outer world temple.
Yeah.
And this character comes out whose name vaguely resembles a word for time. And she just undoes everything because she controls time. And in undoing everything, she also kind of merged all of time.
Oh yes.
I kind of gathered
DeLoreana.
that from the trailers, like the.
So you've got old school Liu Kang, and so because the new Liu Kang and Kung Lao and Jade and someone else, Katana, I think, were all killed by Raiden after he defeated Shinnok, because he took Shinnok's medallion and it made him just rage out. And while he was still fighting for Earthrealm, he just got super. I mean, think Dark Knight Batman days, where the first time we ever saw Batman kill. Not that Dark Knight. The when,
Dark Knight Returns.
What's his name? Who did Watchmen? Took over writing for
Miller?
Batman for a little
Frank
bit.
Miller?
Yeah.
Frank Miller, yeah.
Batman got super edgy and
Yeah. And then something about Azrael and blah blah blah.
So you have
It's not important.
you have these versions of Liu Kang and Kung Lao and Jade and Katana who have gone to Shao Kahn's side, or Shinnok's side, as a result of being killed by Raiden. And then you've got the pre-versions, and they're encountering each other and shit. And then you've also got, Shao Kahn and Kotal Khan, and it's a great excuse to bring
Quetzalcoatl and
old
Wetzel's Pretzels.
characters and new characters together in a big.
Did they bring the old versions of the characters back with their 90s aesthetic too?
Kinda, yeah.
Nice.
So
Rad.
They had the movie
and what's
version.
interesting is Raiden only exists in one version. So the hardcore Raiden, he explains it away. He's because I'm a god, or I'm an elder one or whatever.
I am timeless.
Time affects me differently, so only one of me can ever exist.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Kinda like Brooks.
But he reverts to the old Raiden where he's in the white with the blue, And,
Yep.
and-
Hell yeah.
So it's very much.
It's all rotoscoped and motion captured.
Well, now everything is motion captured, not necessarily rotoscope, but everything is motion captured.
Yeah, but it's not quite the digitized actors who throw punches like
Right.
this.
That would be
And
that'd be a
if-
great unlockable mode.
What would make it an even better unlockable mode is if the old versions of the characters had the same old sound effects.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Someone's
rad.
gonna mod that. There's
Yeah.
gonna be mods for that coming
Yeah.
out.
I'm surprised that that's not something that you would put in as unlockables, as like a modifier to the
Right.
game. Like that seems like it'd be
I
the
can't wait to
perfect
do Bay
way to
Battles.
like
I
deal
wouldn't
with
put it
that.
past him.
That'd
I
be
wouldn't put it past
amazing.
him. But yeah, it feels like a great game, and the story is actually kind of interesting.
I've heard that the fighting feels like a lot smoother than it has in a long time.
Yep.
Like it just feels like a lot better.
Yep.
Which
I agree.
makes me want to get it, but
But like with everything, game related at least,
yes.
incels ruin it
Oh my god.
Lord.
for
So-
multiple. The big one that I think is the most ridiculous is that they're mad about that character going back in time to end slavery.
Yeah, like
I thought
what the fuck?
that
are
was
mad
fucking
about that?
hilarious.
Right. So
Number
Hold
one,
on a second. Hold on. What?
It's
no,
just
there's
like,
two major controversies that have come out of this. One is that in Jax's storyline, he goes back in time to end slavery.
And it's hilarious.
And so someone, at least one person, called it, said, of course, loud people on Twitter will be loud. Netherrealm is in favor of white genocide, was what he said.
I remember them. I don't know if it's the same person, but I remember someone talking about it, saying that, well, why just end slavery against black people? Like, there are evil beings in the Mortal Kombat universe who are enslaving hundreds and thousands of people from all races and creeds. Why not end that? It's like,
Wow.
the joke went right over
Wow.
your fucking head, dude. I'm sorry
Wow.
you're so dumb. I'm sorry you cannot pay attention and you cannot contextualize anything.
That's
mean,
literally the same person, the same type of person who doesn't understand the reason why all lives matter is not an acceptable response to Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
they also just totally skipped over the fact that after that, Jax goes into the future and starts Andrew Jackson Jihad.
A significant downgrade from ending slavery.
That's coming in the patch.
And I'll have you know they're AJJ now because they no longer associate with Andrew Jackson Jihad as a name.
Like in life, there must be balance. In slavery, start Andrew Jackson Jihad. Balance.
Then there's the other controversy started by Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
In that apparently the women are ugly in it. Like
what?
that's
Women that
what
have
they've
spent
been saying.
their whole, characters spent their whole lives fighting aren't gonna look nice because they just got the shit beat out of them. For
Sorry, this is
11 games.
Like they said, which one? Do you guys remember the character that's like the same race as Goro but female?
Gorette.
I knew he was good.
That's a man can get.
I knew it. I don't remember her name. I have not played a lot of Mortal Kombat,
So-
but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm more of a Street
Like
Fighter guy.
one of the tweets that I saw said that she looks like a dude, and it's like this is a different race being that doesn't exist, and certainly doesn't exist for your masturbation fantasy.
But my titties, though.
Oh my
if
god!
you want-
like,
if
I don't
you
even know.
want-
I don't even know what that character even looks like. I'm just imagining like 2 ponytails instead of 1.
I'm sorry that not everything is fetishized for you to be a piece of shit to crank
Right.
it to, man.
Yeah,
Like,
If you're
Just,
that
like,
worried about it, go and play
Fire up
fucking Soul
DeviantArt and
Calibur.
just get good at drawing what you want.
yeah,
yeah, play Dead or Alive.
Play Soul Calibur.
seriously.
It's
Play
Move that slider all the way to the right.
yeah,
Play any of the degen anime fighters that appeal to your interests.
fucking stupid. And honestly, kudos to NetherRealm for like just making a game like their focus on gameplay and story, and making interesting characters and not worrying about fetishizing and pushing this ludicrous extreme of clothing choice in battle. Like, come on. And I mean, even still, like the shit that Cassie wears is form-fitting. Like, she's got boobies. It's just not showing skin.
I want to see the bobs.
That's not enough for me.
Like,
Everything needs to wiggle and jiggle when I move. Even slightly.
I
when
just
a
wanna see
stiff
J-
breeze
John-
comes by.
Johnny Cage in a chainmail G-string, okay, guys? Like, come on.
You want real equality, motherfuckers?
I would play a fighting game with Nick Cage. Everyone, Nick Cage. and
Nick
different-
Cage?
Did I hear Luke? I thought I heard you say Nick Cage.
No, he's
Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage. I heard Nick Cage. I don't know why. You know
You heard
why?
what you wanted
'Cause
to
we were
hear.
Yeah, dirt fakes.
watching dirt fakes all day today.
Also, talking about Nick Cage, did you see that thing about him this week? About him
Angrily singing.
Someone found him at a karaoke
Yes.
bar singing "Purple Rain" the day after his was it a divorce paper?
Yeah,
or an
his
annulment?
his annulment went through.
That I
I'm
want to see.
fucking
I want to see Nick
hilarious.
Cage play Prince in a biopic.
Every
Also,
day-
I think that he was married to her for less than a year.
it was like a week. I thought.
She married him for his dinosaur bones.
Nick Cage is crazy. He's so fucking crazy.
I
Yeah.
am more and more convinced every day that Nick Cage is actually a fictional person. He doesn't actually exist in this reality.
He's actually a normal person, but he got lost somewhere in like a method acting loop. You know,
And now he just can't get out.
yeah, he just can't escape.
He's gone too far.
You know, Fear and Loathing, man.
He, the events of Face Off were actually true.
It's really John Travolta just dragging his name through the mud.
Oh my God, that's But similarly, then Nick Cage is dragging John Travolta's name through the mud in the gay bathhouse. The masseuse thing or whatever, that controversy that happened several years ago.
All of the Scientologist stuff.
Yeah, and when did Battlefield Earth come out? Did Battlefield Earth come out after Face Off?
Yeah.
Because that could be Nick Cage getting back at Jonathan Travolta.
They actually filmed that movie, and it was
John
real.
Travolta.
And it just ever since then, it's just been this like they're fighting each other over who can make their lives look
Right.
worse.
Honestly, right now, I'd say
I know
Nick
how-
Cage is winning
Nick
as
Cage is
John Travolta.
definitely winning as
because
John
I think
Travolta.
John Travolta's career is basically done. Except apparently they're doing a sequel to Grease, and I don't know if John Travolta is going to be.
It's
in
a
that.
prequel.
Oh, is it a prequel?
It's a prequel.
Okay, then John Travolta won't be in it.
No, he might make a cameo as
I'm
like
sure probably
someone's
a cameo.
mom.
Yeah, as some mom.
He'll be a janitor in the
As-
background.
He'll be the janitor of the high school. This is my life. I could have been a contender.
He'll just show up on screen for a second, mumble something about thetan levels, and then that'll be it.
He's actually in
I
a
wanna
psychological
see a
ward.
movie where
Heat levels.
with Steven Seagal playing John Travolta's dad. Because like right now they look like they could be related.
Yeah, they really, really do. They really do.
Honestly,
they look
at
like
this
they were
point-
stung by the same bee.
A really big bee.
Honestly, at this point, Steven Seagal
Really
could play
big.
John Travolta's brother. They look exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of them is this trained CIA operatives to fight in the Yakuza, and the other one was in Face Off.
Can the whole movie just be Steven Seagal kicking John Travolta's ass?
If he could get his legs that far off the ground.
Here's
He's just kicking
yeah.
him in the ankle.
Here's
no,
90
not my
minutes.
ankle bracelet.
Here's 90 minutes of attempting to watch Steven Seagal kick John Travolta's ass.
Steven Seagal is like watching him do anything. The older he gets is like watching Danzig try to do anything. The older he gets,
Yeah.
he just gets out of breath after hyping himself up.
Which, by the way, did you see that tweet that Danzig put out recently
The cowboy thing.
about how he doesn't eat his own cum?
Yeah, I did. I did. That was so good. That was so good. Just out of nowhere. What? This meme page and then.
Also, did you notice that apparently someone else has gotten control of John Travolta's, or not John Travolta, Glenn Danzig's Facebook page?
I did because I was like, what is happening? Did he have a mental breakdown?
It's
or?
like nothing but like bong, like weed.
He's got like
king shit,
Rasta hats shopped into all his pictures.
Yeah. So Danzig's Facebook page is no longer Danzig, and it's like his personal Facebook page. It's not a page. It's his account.
Well, that's what you get when your password is 1234.
Speaking of people who look like
My password
is 666 Halloween.
Speaking of people who look like they could be related to John Travolta, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I suppose Danzig does kind of look like he could be related to John Travolta as well.
Hey, he ain't no goddamn son of a bitch.
You better think about it, baby.
You better think about that, baby.
So here it is. It says, I was hacked. Anything that was posted in the last month was not me. I don't smoke weed. I don't eat hot dogs, and I definitely don't eat my own cum. When I find the piece of shit that did this, and I will, they will pay the ultimate price.
Oh my God, he's such an edgelord. Holy fuck.
Better watch out. He's got those nunchucks he bought that strip mall.
And of course, you guys have all seen the footage of that Arizona musician who
Yeah,
fucking
yep,
socked him
yep.
in the goddamn jaw.
Yep, that was great.
While you
I
were
actually-
hacking my Facebook, I was studying the blade.
Earlier this week, I thought of a great band name talking about this strip mall karate champs.
Danzig in the
That's
streets.
pretty good. That's pretty good.
You know, because I keep seeing these martial arts places pop up in like places where Little Caesars used to be or some shit like that, and I'm just like, you know, like that'd be it's a really sad like thing to be proud of. It's like, yeah, I got this black belt.
Yeah.
Next to this dry cleaner.
I've got my Safeway black belt.
Safeway black belt. Fred
Do you
Meyer,
get that once
motherfucker.
you've saved enough money on with your Safeway rewards card?
Taekwon
Yes.
Kroger.
Taekwon Kroger.
Kroger fist.
I studied the way of the Kroger fist. People who
Crouching
take
Kroger
themselves
hidden.
as
Wiggly,
seriously
wiggly.
as Danzig, fucking,
Deserve to be made fun of like that.
Yes.
they make me laugh.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think the reason that we got the president that we got is because someone in power is that kind of person who takes
Danzig?
themselves too seriously. No, so Danzig
Oh,
and
yeah.
Trump share that in common in that they take themselves too seriously and then they rage out after a certain point. You know, like, because I keep flashing back to like the White House Correspondents' Dinner where Obama roasted the fuck out of Trump.
Oh yeah.
And that's just, you know, Trump not taking any of those as jokes, being a fucking edgelord and going, I'll fucking show them. And then, you know.
And then
he ain't no goddamn son of a bitch.
And then he makes a Game of Thrones-esque post about how there was no collusion and it was hilarious.
There's no collusion.
Where he
in
has his
Westeros.
back to the camera and it's got like Game of Thrones font. It's fucking hilarious.
I loved him getting like copyrighted on every time they try to use something that isn't theirs, and just like it's like
Anytime a Republican tries to use music, they seem to forget that every
can't do
good
that.
artist is not on their side.
My favorite part about the whole election and inauguration, beyond the terribly photoshopped look at all these people, was the fact that not only did Bruce Springsteen refuse to play the inauguration,
Yep.
but the Bruce Springsteen cover band that they tried getting also refused.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, Bruce Springsteen, while he may be the working man, he's
decidedly a Democrat.
Yeah, not a
What was-
Republican.
What was the Born in the USA obviously is not pro USA,
No.
and it was it Ford that used
No,
Born in
it
the
was Reagan.
was it Reagan? But there was also a truck commercial that
Oh, yeah.
and it's just like, okay, you're like trying to
Yeah.
Reagan obviously
No,
did it, but
Born in
then-
the USA is a song about how coming back from Vietnam and no one wants to help someone, and
Yeah.
how America's really, really bad at taking care of its vets.
But it's like everyone stops at "Born in the USA,"
Yep.
and it's like
Well,
this is a good old American song.
Why don't you just stick with "I'm proud to be an American"?
Just have that on
At least
repeat.
I know I'm free.
24 hours a day in your home.
and I gladly stand up next to you on the fender still today.
While you wear your American flag print shorts that totally aren't desecrating the flag you claim you shouldn't
Yeah,
desecrate.
technically speaking, the American flag made into any form of apparel whatsoever is technically against the law.
I did buy a pair of swim trunks that were American flag ones, but because I knew that ahead of time.
Yeah. But I don't give a shit if you desecrate the flag, so...
That's why technically all American flag apparel it's actually the Puerto Rican flag.
Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah. Oh, this is life, guys.
Life is a party.
this
Life is a
this
highway.
is the world.
And I want to get wrecked.
I want to get in a
Yeah.
fatal accident.
Oh. But, I mean,
But hey, we have Endgame. Endgame's a good thing, right?
No
which we're not
spoilers.
going to talk about.
Oh, why?
You're not allowed to,
I heard
dude.
that. I heard that Dumbledore dies,
Dumbledore
Trying-
does actually die.
trying to stop Bruce Wayne from destroying the Infinity DeLorean.
And
Now you're just singing the words to Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny.
Yes, you are.
Ugh, I hate that song.
Not a Lemon Demon fan?
I never liked any of those like novelty songs that came out of the early days of like online video stuff like that. It was just
But it was early internet shitposting. And it was
All
great.
your bass, bass, bass. All your bass.
Zero
All
Wing.
belongs to
Zero Wing
us.
is a perfectly adequate game that with translation issues. Next,
Are you telling me you didn't enjoy YouTube poops, Brooks?
that's a completely different thing, and you know it. Dr. Rabbit.
One of my personal favorites being Hank of the Hell.
I love the Gaston ones. They did. And every last inch of me's covered with Gaston. You got those, and you have, of course, all the CDI Zelda ones. Those
Oh,
are-
God.
those should be in like the Guggenheim or something. It's just,
The national history.
Good luck, my boy. My boy. We met in prison.
So, what have you guys been playing this past week?
Earthbound. Been
Yeah?
going through Earthbound.
Welcome to Earthbound.
Welcome to Earthbound. Just because, like, my first time playing it was on my SNES Classic, and I got almost all the way through. Lost Steam due to whatever reasons, and I decided that every JRPG that I like, I can play on my 3DS. So I'm just gonna do that because I got 10 minutes. I can grind a little bit and move on to the next part, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I have started that game several times and enjoyed my time with it, but as RPGs don't fit my play style anymore. Like, I used to be able to just sit and play forever, but like jumping back into an RPG has been, is nearly impossible.
Yeah, it can be.
I started Octopath Traveler. I fucking love Octopath Traveler. But I just set it aside and just wasn't in the mood for that kind of game for a while. And then, whoops, now I basically have to start the game.
Oops, all berries.
Yeah. That's
Is that what happens whenever you play any game? Oops, all bad.
Yes.
That's your excuse.
That is the problem with playing through an RPG and not finishing it is because you have to spend the next hour at least figuring out, okay, what do I have to do? Where was I at? What is the story and why is this
What
important?
happened?
And
Yeah.
then after that, you figure out why you stopped playing because I didn't grind enough and this boss has been
Right.
kicking my ass, or I have to wander around this town for this thing to happen.
Like,
I've been having issues like that with, or I had issues with that with The Witcher 3, and that's more just because of how, like, those open world
It's sort of
RPGs have been
JRPG,
made.
yeah.
Tyler.
It's just like question mark fatigue and just like going around. It
Yeah.
took me literally a year and a half to get through The Witcher 3 because I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna beat this game. I'm gonna go through, finalize this quest, and then I'm like, oh, but I could just take this route and do all these question marks, and then 2 hours later, I'm like, well, I don't want to do the
The
quest.
Witcher 3, Ethan Hunt.
yeah, I mean, with other games, it's like the worst I have to do is reacclimate myself to the controls.
Right, and then you kind of figure it out from there. And I had
But
the
when
same
you
problem with-
totally forget what your fucking objective was,
Where did I
where
already
was I
go?
going again? Oh Christ!
yeah,
I-
I booted up Snatcher again this week and on one of my save files, and I was like, I forgot what I had to do. I spent an hour wandering around, asking the same questions that I'd apparently asked 1,000 times. And by the time that I got to any point where I could progress the story, it was time to go to bed. And I was like, well, that was a waste of time.
Well, I look forward to doing this again in a month.
Exactly. Oh, man. Ugh.
How about you, Dan? Do
DMC
I even need to ask?
Devil May Care.
Yes.
All right, and then at this point, we'll just loop the stuff that Dan was saying last time.
Although by the time the next week comes around, I will not still be playing it because I'm just about out of things to do. So,
Oh yeah.
Are you gonna finally break down and get
Sekiro?
Yeah.
Probably. I think that's next on the list.
Do you 100% games like Devil May Cry? You go through and just do every single thing that you can? Or?
I don't really 100% them. I may at some point.
You're like an 85 to 90% guy, where
yeah.
the remaining 10% is just useless chattel. That's like Easter eggs and conversation quest stuff.
And there are usually certain challenges, especially in games that have that high style expectation out of you, that are just.
Kill 100 enemies in a row using this specific combo.
I consider them kind of unreasonable sometimes, but
sure.
Like for example, the final difficulty that's like the
Hell or
Hell. Yeah, I don't think
or
I'm gonna,
Hell in Hell.
I don't think I really want to do that one.
Isn't that a Dio song?
Maybe. I don't know. It's been a great time though. Once I finish all 3 of the Bloody Palace characters, I'll be done, and then I'll play something else. But it's a great time still. It will be Sekiro for sure.
You should play.
Maintain some mystery, Dan. We don't want to know everything all at once.
I'm sorry. I'm going to play.
I mean,
My Little
we
Pony is
can-
actually next on the agenda.
We
for
can
you.
usually predict what game Dan's going to move on to, and if there's nothing that was recently released that he's like particularly interested in, he's just going back to Warframe.
or Neo.
Or Neo.
No,
He's done with.
There's
Neo.
literally nothing left for me to do in Neo.
Except wipe your save file and start all over again.
No thanks.
Sisyphus, just push that boulder up that hill. All right?
How about you, Tyler? What have you been playing?
Devil May Cry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tyler, what have you been playing? The Field.
Obviously. I'm finally actually got some. This has been one of those weeks where I just really didn't get any time to do like anything because of work and just life stuff.
Yeah,
But
it's been
so
an
finally,
exhausting week.
yeah. So finally, I actually got to bite into some Devil May Cry, and I'm like almost done with the story. Finally,
I need to see your chops, dude. You see how good you are.
I'm terrible.
Get that
I'm
taser.
finally starting to get SSs though. So in combat encounters, I got my first S ranked mission, so I'm proud of myself.
Well,
Leave
everyone
me
knows
alone. I'm not playing on easy. Remember that. I'm not playing on easy. I'm playing on Demon Hunter.
You sweet summer child.
Leave me alone, Dan. We've already known that you haven't trained me enough.
What have you been doing?
your skills on.
I have been playing Mortal Kombat 11, Cuphead.
Cuphead.
Mortal Kombat 11.
And obviously, I got Final Fantasy X and X-2 when that came out on Switch, so played a little bit of that.
So obviously playing 10-2 because
It's on my list because it's one that I actually haven't played.
you never played it.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I never played X-2.
I finally got Zeke to start playing Chrono Trigger because I've been hyping it up for years at this point. You know, and he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Instantly, just fell into it. He's spent like he's got like 20 hours in the game like right now.
God damn.
And
Yeah.
unlike Final Fantasy X and X-2, Chrono Trigger is good.
And
Yeah.
infinitely replayable.
10's not bad.
I love 10.
10 is actually 8 is the beginning of the end. 10 was a continuation of the end. 9 was the
one that came before
saving grace. You know, so you know, at least for someone like me, like I didn't play the old ones until later on. I started at 7 and I was like, oh my god, this is fucking phenomenal.
First one I played was 3.
And 3 or 6.
3 proper.
Okay.
For now on, because we haven't had the Final Fantasy conversation too much. Whenever I reference a Final Fantasy game, it is always by its true number.
Okay.
That's North American release.
I feel like if you
Because 6
It's always by its true number.
I feel like if you ever have kids, this-
Fantasy 3, but the Redux version on the DS.
Brooks, I feel like if you ever have kids, that's going to be one of the conversations you have. It's like,
I am
son,
never having
it's-
children.
It's time we have the talk. Dad, I go to public school.
Have
Of
you
course I've
visited
had
the
the talk.
planet?
No, I'm talking about the Final Fantasy.
Have you visited the planet we live on, Tyler? I don't ever want to burden anyone else. Okay.
Besides,
because
you reproduce via mitosis, don't you?
No, I just don't.
6, aka American 3, is I know regarded as the best Final Fantasy.
Honestly,
still.
like I knew they were only going to put one JRPG on the SNES Classic, and I knew it was going to be a toss up between Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy 6, 3.
Chrono Trigger's better.
Chrono Trigger is better, but I also I'm totally got their why they did that, because 6 is a phenomenal. It's the best of the old
yeah.
Final Fantasy games for sure.
I'm just so lukewarm on Final Fantasy.
So, as someone who fell in love with 7, then
Mystic
8
Quest.
came out, and I felt hurt. I felt slapped when I played 8, because by the end you're like, what the fuck?
My keyboardist is obsessed with 8.
The fuck? Like, you go through the whole game watching Renoa fall in love with this character whose most prevalent, dialogue is ... And then you get to the end and find out that they were all actually in an orphanage together, and you're like, "What? How the fuck?"
I thought we were
None
all
of this makes any
orphans.
goddamn sense.
I mean, whenever Final Fantasy tries to do anything more complex than crystals of elements,
Crystals, orphans, and wizards.
then it immediately sucks because they can't write a good story.
And that's not to say that 7's story,
I love-
especially
I
when
love
you
7.
consider Zack and stuff like that, is a bit
7's
convoluted.
7's story, although it is convoluted, convolution is the trademark of a JRPG story. Even Chrono Trigger's story is a little convoluted.
But 8 was so far-reaching, and then 9 came out and it seemed to be like, look, guys, we're really sorry about 8. We know a lot of you feel hurt.
Here's an old one.
Here, we're even pulling back from like character classes that you guys know us for, where everything's good. Everything is good.
Psych!
9 was lovely. Then 10 came out, and 10 was the beginning of the multiple-hour tutorial.
Vomit.
And also the good old-fashioned Titus laugh.
God. you know, like, it sucks because, like, I love the old Final Fantasy, but as soon as they started jumping into that, like, anime Dream Boy thing,
Yup.
it's just like, now you've alienated half of your audience because we had to use our imaginations a little bit, and now you're pandering to a very specific fan base.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing that Fire Emblem is doing to me.
But
I'm so sorry, Dad.
overall, the storyline of 10 is fairly solid, and like, I'm a sports guy in this futuristic kind of culture.
Waka was the only good part of that game.
Waka is
Waka was
amazing.
great.
Sports!
It gets attacked, and oh shit, I'm gone for 100 years. Like,
Crystals.
it's neat.
Time for elements.
It's neat, and you've got me on board. Like, all the characters, I enjoy all the characters.
Shilly shally dilly dally.
Until you get to... God damn it.
Please continue, Ryan.
Until you get to the inevitable anime reveal that the big bad, which is... You can't tell. Like, I mean, it's just this big, massive thing.
Super Mecha Death Christ.
Hit it in the eye.
Your dad. Like...
There's a reason why I love
You know,
those
Adventure
games,
Time
and
did it better
10
with
and 10
Marceline
2
and her dad.
have, in my opinion, horrible stories, and that's kind of been my approach to a lot of JRPGs. And it's just I play them because it's fun, not because I'm like absorbing this story. Because it's
you need to play-
99% of the time
the
nonsensical.
reason that I fell in love with Final Fantasy VII is actually because of the story.
Yeah, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy. But I feel like that's
why
the
I like
exception
the
that
Final
proves
Fantasy
the
games
rule.
that I like.
Yeah.
Because, like, the stories are good. Like, the story in 6 is fantastic. Story in 4 is really good. We can ignore 3 and 5. Because Onion Knights
And, like, even historically, Kefka is one of the best villains in
yeah,
any game ever.
He's just like, he's what every Joker gangweed dork on the internet wants to be. Like, friggin', if you guys have seen those terrible memes, like,
Oh, yeah.
ancient gamer plays Halo 3, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here, children.
There was another game that I think it was Square. It had to have been Square. Vagrant Story. That, again, had a great villain of an extremely interesting combat system, where you essentially stop time and this dome of your attack range goes out around you, like this hex dome of your attack range goes out around you. It's the same artistic director as Final Fantasy XII, but it came way before it. It was a PlayStation 1 game. And so, like, and there's limb targeting. So let's say that someone comes is on their way into your range, you can expand this thing, and if their leg is the only thing that's within your range, can target their leg and actually hit their leg.
Okay.
And it's like Vagrant Story was. I feel like it's an all too frequently overlooked.
I have actually
Square
overlooked that one. I've not played that. But speaking of other overlooked, it's not a JRPG. It's an action RPG, but it was still ridiculously fun. Brave Fencer Musashi. Remember that?
Fencer Musashi was fucking rad.
Yeah, that game is
and
rad.
there's a second one
Yeah,
too.
the sequel sucks though. It's a PS2 game.
Yep.
And the highlight of it was that this Japanese surf rock band did the soundtrack, and they made it look too Kingdom Heartsy for me. Like he's wearing like big flared not Jinkos and
Sure.
he's got this really stupid hairdo, and it's like, no, give me the weird smelly kid with the blue hair,
Yeah, Brave Fencer Musashi was another great fucking game.
Yeah, it's goofy and fun, and I'm probably gonna play it when I get home tonight.
I never actually beat that one, but I have played it. And
I haven't
It's
beat
one
it
of those
either.
games that I played at a
I remember
friend's house.
seeing ads for it in comic books for like months, where it's just like back when like Sony's like ad game was like kind of still weird. It was like the Ape Escape, the Ape Escape. It was.
You
like
mean when it was weird, but before it went over the edge?
Yeah, it was weird, but like
Because that's where they live now, is on the other side of the cliff. They're
Yeah.
they're down at the bottom of that fucking.
yeah, they've fallen into the quarry and they can't get out. It's wonderful.
They're still in the realm of, hey, this advertisement might get us lawsuits from several governments.
I love it.
Hell yeah.
Oh
Fucking
man.
ridiculous. And it is not clear that it's about gaming in any way whatsoever.
It's like what is the product being sold here?
Those
Sexy singles in your
ridiculous
area,
PS3
PlayStation
ads,
4.
the ones the baby.
Yup.
Like what the fuck?
Well, they got people's attention.
It did. It made you go, "What am I watching?"
and Kevin Butler, those ones
I
are great.
remember.
With a stick.
What's
with
he
a
doing
stick.
now? He's a representative for some other company now, or some shit, like some cell phone company. I feel like.
Boost Mobile.
I have no idea. I can't remember. Or he became an EA
Singular Wireless
guy or something. I can't remember.
Nokia.
But that also kind of reminds me that you remember the "Can You Hear Me Now" guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he's on Sprint now.
Sprint.
Yep, and he makes references to the fact that he was the Verizon guy.
Honestly, I like that a lot.
He even makes sense to he makes references to his old catchphrase too.
Yep.
Like, can you hear that now?
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
like
man.
from what I heard, like back in the day, like people would just not leave him alone about that. I would like see him, they'd be like,
Oh,
"Oh,
I
you're that
imagine.
guy. Can you say it? Will you say it for me? Will you say it for me?" So he looks kind of burnt out, like kind of like the nerd looks like now on AVGN.
Yeah.
He looks all burnt out now.
I don't think he looks burnt out. I just think he's been making videos for so long that he looks older, like he's supposed to.
He is aged in a
Oh shit!
entirely
James
predictable
Rolfe
way.
ages like the rest of us.
That's why he always wears hats.
I mean, yeah, if you go back to like the early AVGN stuff, he looks like a kid now.
Yeah, he looks like a child.
Fuck, my brain just stopped. It just went away.
would-
I had a thing. It completely disappeared.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Podcast.
Yay!
I feel like being the "Can you hear me now" guy would have, like, even his family was probably calling him, "Can you hear me now?" And you're like, you know what? Can you hear this?
Now I remember.
Yay! Look, see, all you needed was my stupidity to help.
Yeah, I just needed to look at you and pretend that I was listening to you while I dug through my brain.
See, I wish I could say that I'm not used to that, but I am.
So the dude you're getting Adele guy
Oh yeah.
was fucking old Pete from Adventures of Pete and Pete. Oh, that's right. None of you know.
No,
about
I
Pete and
know.
Pete. Okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm
Of
not
course,
a
Brooks
child.
knows, Ryan. Come on.
And they have their own podcast on the Last Podcast
Is
Network.
it repeat and Pete?
Where it's Pete and Pete, Tamborelli and whatever the old Pete's name, because Tamborelli played the son, the annoying son in Grand Theft Auto 5.
That's right. That's right. Cause the wheel.
I have not seen that show. Except for maybe the 2 seconds of you had it on that one day. That's
Yeah.
it.
Old Nickelodeon, man. Old Nickelodeon was
Old
fucking
Nickelodeon.
great.
See, I watched-
90s Nickelodeon was
Hey,
the
dude.
best.
Salute your shorts.
Yeah.
I guess
Infomercials.
my idea of
Hey,
I guess my idea of old Nickelodeon was 90s, 2000s, early 2000s. Hey Arnold, Rugrats.
Hey,
Yeah,
Taylor,
yeah,
why
Hey
don't
Arnold-
you take a long walk up a short pier, man?
Hey Arnold is late stage Nicktoons. Because first generation Nicktoons were Doug, Rugrats,
Rocko's Modern
Ren and
Life.
Stimpy,
I do.
Rocko's Modern Life. I think that was it for the
And
first
then the next
generation.
wave was Real Monsters,
Yeah.
Angry Beavers. I love-
Angry Beavers was not this part of the same wave as Real Monsters. Angry
Angry
Beavers,
Beavers was a little later.
part of the Hey Arnold.
Oh,
wave.
okay. All I know was that it was when they were still down with using ska for their intros and stuff like that.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, blam! It's why anyone.
Which
Kablam.
Kablam's theme song was The Toasters. It
Yeah, I
was
know,
done
it's
by
great.
The Toasters.
It's why anyone knows who the Toasters that doesn't know ska. Dan,
I had no idea who the Toasters were, so sorry about it.
The Toasters.
you need more ska in your life, sir.
I don't enjoy it very much.
You just need to pick it up.
The Toasters. Oh
Pick it up.
God, damn
and
it!
then I put it back down.
Holy fuck!
You skank.
I feel like you both are talking in two different languages
Oh.
right now.
Well, it's I'm sorry for being a rude boy, but you
Oh
just
my
need to
God,
get into it.
Damn it!
Definitely, damn it. Definitely talking in two different languages.
So
Don't make me bring in the big guns, the guns of Navarone.
the Toasters were a legend and still are kind of a legendary
They come through town every now and
two-tone ska band from the UK. And they had a record label out of New York called Moon Ska Records, and it focused on it. Kind of was a major part of bringing ska into the consciousness in the early 90s.
Gotta
and-
love
and
that
stuff
third
like
wave, man.
The only pop.
Unfortunately, Moon Ska died like probably 5 or 6 years, or maybe even longer ago, fucking 10 years, something like that. But it was
Ska?
Moon, Moon. It was a record label out of New York.
Oh.
And so they did a series of compilations called Scarmageddon, and there would be two discs, where one disc would be kind of like older school two-tone ska, which was still very prevalent in the UK.
And the other side was
through the
someone
80s.
banging trumpets together into a microphone.
Not even blowing.
It's trombones, asshole.
And then the second disc would be third wave ska, which is where punk got more influence into ska, and it got a lot heavier and stuff like that.
And you get cool bands like the Aquabats, which is
Aquabats and the Hippos and all kinds of
Sand
Were they
Fleas.
hungry?
Big D and the Kids Table. And,
table.
yeah. But with that ska lesson, we've come to the end of the podcast. Anyone have any rants and or rapes?
No.
No spoilers, but in game was good. And I'm not
Spoilers! I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to get too into how good it was, but it was very good, and I don't think people will be disappointed. So,
A friend of mine on Facebook recently posted that she was very upset that she ended up getting spoiled for Endgame in a group that she's in on Facebook, a sloth group on Facebook.
A sloth
someone
group.
someone posted in the group some Endgame spoilers. So I commented on her post and said, "Well, great. Now I know Endgame has sloths." In it.
sorry, Ryan.
I have a rant.
Go on.
Tyler fucking spoiled Endgame for us on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think we should kick his ass.
Yeah, let's
Pretty
kick
sure
his
we should.
ass.
Can you please? Just please?
It'll be like Don Hertzfeldt's Rejected, except the sign says normal hats only.
Yeah. It'll be more than just his anus.
I'm not
that's
sure if I can
bleeding.
feel pain anymore. I need to know if I still feel.
I've got a little bit of a rant that I had meant to bring up last week. Oh, that's so sweet.
It's gone now forever.
And
It's like the wrist
I,
cutters.
Into the ether.
as one tends to do when on this fucking podcast, I lost track of what I was going to say.
Wait, you lost track of what you were
Oh,
going to
fuck.
say? Really?
So, a lot of people seem to be picking sides in this Epic Game Store versus Steam thing. And everyone seems to be complaining about Epic, which doesn't make sense to me. Because, first off, competition is good. Secondly, and competition that's not fucking Uplay or whatever the fuck is good, because those aren't real competition. It's just, hey, we've got Ubisoft games, and we're requiring you to use our shitty software.
God, I hate that.
The Epic Games Store is just doing exactly what Valve was doing with Steam. And like, hey, we're going to set up a way for indie developers and AAA developers alike to distribute their games digitally in a simple fashion, and it's fine. It took a long time for Steam. I mean, remember, Steam came out with Half-Life 2. That's when Steam debuted.
Oh,
was
the
when
old
Half-Life 2
Valve.
came out. And so it's taken a long time for Steam to reach the point that it's at right now, and it still has a lot of places to grow. They've only just now started making significant upgrades to their community that are huge quality of life upgrades.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be some growing pains for Epic going into this. But when the way that people are reacting to timed exclusives on Steam on Epic Store is shitty. Because the reason that they're able to do that is Valve takes 30% and Epic is taking 12%. That, to me, as someone who wants to make sure that as much money gets to these studios who are making games that I care about as possible, that means that I am absolutely going to buy on Epic more often. I know, look, it might be a pain in the ass to manage 2 fucking game libraries, but it means a lot to me to make sure that they're getting that much more. And Epic has even come out and said, look, we'll stop doing timed exclusives on our store once Steam gives, only takes 12%.
Yeah, I was actually not aware of that till just now, so I will be making probably a switch in my future purchases on games that come out. So,
and hey, maybe this is all publicity. Maybe somewhere down the line, they're going to decide that they want 30, and they're gonna switch up and be like
it's
Steam.
business. It's business.
It is absolutely business. They definitely recognized that the only way that they were going to be able to steal any ground from Valve was with timed exclusives, and the only way to get those was to compensate devs better.
Yes, and competition is great for the customer.
And you know what? They're already rolling around in their money vault from Fortnite, so...
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So, I
Are
mean...
you sure you don't want to play Fortnite on your thermostat?
I think the reason that
Do they have room to grow for their community? Absolutely. They have a lot of lessons to learn. They have a lot of development to do, but they're doing it right, in my opinion. And as long as they are compensating the developers that I love a healthier share of the profits that I give them, I'm going to be buying on Epic.
I think the reason that a lot of gamers are getting all bent out of shape out of it over it, PC gamers especially, just because they've, PC gamers have sat on their high horse for years watching the Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft exclusive console wars and everything. Haha, we get everything. It's all, and then now they have to deal with it too. And
Yeah, but we still get everything.
Yeah,
still get everything, but there's still the timed exclusive thing,
Yeah.
and it's like, so I can see why people get a little bent out of shape about it, because it's not something
Honestly,
that you're used to.
I'm
guess,
guessing that the
but-
only reason that people are really actually getting bent out of shape about it is that, admittedly, Epic's launcher software is young and definitely has some bugs.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, they are too used. Like, I've got over 1,000 games on Steam, so now I have to have this other piece of software. But realistically, when you break it down from a fucking business standpoint, it is good for us that this is a thing that's happening.
And honestly, if your biggest complaint is having to just run a different piece of software, it's like an extra 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Like, fucking, grow the fuck up.
Yeah. That's the end of my rant.
And the final rant is, if Thanos is really in Fortnite, why hasn't he snapped and deleted half of the accounts yet?
or just
I'm waiting for your response.
And
Epic
why
Games.
isn't Ant-Man going up? Why isn't there an Ant-Man
Ant-Man.
playable character that can go up his ass?
That has actually already been proven that it
Can't
cannot happen.
They
Cannot
did the
work.
math.
They
They
did the
did the math. It can't even happen in a human's anus.
Correct. Because the resistance of the intestinal wall is actually greater than it would stop Ant-Man from growing. Because
Much
we've already
like it
seen
did when he
that.
gets
with
in the
but a
room.
clench.
Yeah. Yep.
So don't worry, your anuses are all safe from Ant-Man.
So that's going to be it for this podcast. This episode, as with every episode, is brought to you by Ripped Apparel.
Get ripped?
Get ripped.
I've got one.
I ripped the sleeves off my shirt today.
Ripped.
These are cool shirts, guys. They're really cool.
Tyler is wearing a Ripped Apparel shirt. It's a cute
Pimpin'
little
the brand.
Harry Potter with his Patronus and done in a limbo art style, which is really, really very pretty.
Yes, Tyler, you are pretty.
So, as you can expect, Ripped Apparel does a lot of pop culture and video game crossover apparel, and I believe they do canvases too and things like that. So head on over to toplessrobot.com/RIPT and grab your piece of pop culture.
Round the rough and
wear
rugged rock, the
today.
ragged rascal ran.
This episode is brought to you by My Stroke. Sorry, Brooks. And as always, this episode is brought to you by Humble Bundle. The Humble Monthly Bundle is quickly coming up for this month. The rest of this month's titles released this Friday.
Yeah, so buy some shit.
Head on over to toplessrobot.com/humble, and that'll put our little partner code in the URL. And seriously, I know with the amount that I was just talking about Epic Games and shit like that, these are all Steam keys. But it's $12. You get 9 or 10 games every month.
And the savings are passed
It's
directly onto you.
Super fucking worth it. And portions go to charity, and it's I feel that Humble can do no wrong at this point. They have really established themselves as a very good giving force. So
Yeah.
Yes.
that's toplessrobot.com/humble. And that's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
See y'all.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.
Yeah, let me tell you something, brother. You load the podcast with the rocket fuel, and you start the Mega Powers, and you hit that subscribe button. Ooh, I'm not gonna rip my shirt because it's the only one I have right now. Subscribe.